we will discuss about the types of the attacks, because until you don't know the types of the attack, you cannot protect your organization from those attacks. So here we will discuss about the basic network attacks. What we will discuss? Basic network attacks. Because we are discussing about the network, so it is necessary we know about the attacks, which those attacks will be performed in a network against the network devices, maybe on the layer number 2 or the layer number 3. So what are the attacks are there? We will discuss about it in a detail. About the attacks, perform the attacks, we will discuss in a CEH, Certified Ethical Hacker, or the penetration testing. So first we are going to discuss about the general attacks types, which type of the attacks can be performed or exist inside the network. Before the knowing about the attacks, before we start talking about the attacks, we just discuss about the attacker's type. What are the attacker types and what their motivations? Because without motivation, no attacker going to be attack on your organization. First we are going to discuss about the attacks. What is the attacks? Whenever the normal process will be interrupted, it is known as an attack. Means whatever the normal process is using the username and password for the login. If this process will be manipulated, it is known as an attacks. Whatever the process is, normal process is there. If the process is interrupted, manipulated, it is known as an attack. So attack cannot be performed itself, must need a attacker who will perform the attacks. So without motivation, no attacker will perform. Multiple motivations are there. For the example, money. Some attackers are doing the attacks or do the hacks for generating the money or getting the money. Some are motivation, maybe their challenges. They are trying to find out different types of the challenges. They are looks of the challenges. They are like the challenges. The motivation maybe they want to exfiltrate your data, means stealing your data. It may be the motivation, stealing the data. Either some attackers are the state nation attackers, means some are going to be sponsored by the nation, sponsored by the any organization, sponsored by the any specific state. So these are the different motivations attacker have. So what are the attacks? First attack is a footprinting and the fingerprinting. Footprinting and the fingerprinting adds its name to just collect the footprint or the fingerprint. Fingerprint and footprint in a real world, why a investigator will collect these prints? Collecting the information. The techniques which is used for the collecting the information about the network, about the network devices and their configuration. So what is the footprinting and fingerprinting? Discover how the network and its security system are configured. Why require a configuration? Because if there is any type of the misconfiguration, so there is a vulnerability and it can be exploited. Another aim is inside the fingerprint, there is another part, it is called enumeration. Enumeration just list all the resources on the network. Means whether the scan the network and find out there is a 10 switch are connected, and 4 is a router connected, one firewall connected, one IDS IPS connected. So gathering the information and create a list of the resources on the network, their host and the systems. Okay, not only this, also the fingerprint is a part of when you are going to be gather, or the attacker is going to be gather the information like how many ports are open on the target machine, what are the services are running there, and what are the version of the services, devices and their operating systems, Linux, Windows or the Mac, and the version also. Like you find the Windows, so which version of the Windows is running? Windows 2000, Windows 7, Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 10, 2016, which type of the Windows server is running, and what is the minor updation installed, minor update has been done on the target machine. So all the information can be gathered in this attack. Another attack is a spoofing. A spoofing attack just a stealing the identity. Stealing the identity. For the example, you have the running system and your computer or the mobile device has a identity. Yes or no? Yes, of course your computer have the identity. So which type of identity your computer have? IP address, MAC address, okay, and domain name. These are the identity you have, your computer have inside the network. So stealing the identity known as a spoofing. So possibility spoofing of the MAC spoofing means stealing the MAC. So what is the stealing of the MAC? For the example, this is your PC in the network and the IP address is 10.1.1.1. Okay, and here the IP address of the, here is the attacker IP address, and this attacker want to steal your identity. For the example, there is a one server and it will send the request to the server by crafting the packet. Crafting means creating the packet, crafting the packet with the IP address of 10.1.1. Means the traffic or the packet will be sent by the attacker machine, but identity will be used by of this machine 10.1.1.1. In this case, the server will think the request is coming from client machine, not from attacker, but actually it is going to be attacker. So this is the stealing of the identity. Similar happened with the MAC spoofing, when stealing the MAC address, when IP spoofing, when stealing the IP, DNS spoofing, when the DNS name, and sometime lots of the attacker are creating the fake website or website spoofing, like creating the fake Facebook website, creating the fake of the Instagram, LinkedIn and other social websites. These type of the attack known as a social engineering attack. Okay, we will discuss later. Another type attack is a DOS attack. DOS attack is a one of the attack which is performed in a network and it is well known. So what this attack? This attack make the service unavailable to the users. For the example, you have a web server, running web server, but there is a attack happened, DOS attack, and make this service unavailable for the users. Like this is your user is requesting the any page from the web server but not getting the reply. So this service has been made unavailable for the users by using the DOS attack. So there is a different techniques can be used, like overloading the CPU, system RAM, disk space, network bandwidth. So once the CPU exploiting some buffer overflow, so can use the complete CPU and RAM by the attacker. So in this case, the legitimate request will not be processed. Another is using the network bandwidth, like there is a web server. So when the web server have the internet connection, so it have a specific bandwidth here, like 1 GB, 2 GB. It's depend how much bandwidth available for this web server. So what the attacker will do, attacker will consume all the bandwidth by using the DOS attack. When all the bandwidth will be consumed, so the legitimate computer or legitimate user cannot send their request. Why? Because there is a no bandwidth available. Okay, so other type of the DOS attack means there is some other techniques also used to making the service unavailable. This type of the attack is known as a physical DOS attack. Means when you are interrupting the service physically, what you can do, you can cut the cable. When you cut the network cable, then the server will be off. Either you can make the switch off of the power to the server. So in this case, the server will not be available or service will be unavailable for the legitimate user. Okay, so this is the purely destructive or attacker to spoof the legitimate services. Means when your server will not be available and another server will be available, this server will be maybe the fake or maybe the spoof domain name.